Hey everyone, welcome to Wrestling Connection. I'm Johnny D the Redeemer, and here it is, my top 10 video that I promised you guys. I was having camera problems the other day, and I told you I'd get it out this weekend, so here it is. I hope you guys enjoy. This is going to be a top 10 of my personal favorite wrestlers that I enjoyed watching growing up. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start with my number 10. My number 10 is Sting. I know what you're thinking. Sting is only number 10, but there's a reason for that. I didn't grow up watching WCW. As a kid, I always watched WWE. So I never really got to see a whole lot of Sting. I knew who he was. I kind of knew about him. But I never really saw him or got to enjoy him as a child. It wasn't until I was older and really YouTube started to come about, I was able to go back and watch a lot of his stuff from WCW. That's when I started to see how much of a performer he was, how great he was in ring. He's charismatic, and he's very versatile. A lot of people know he started out with the Surfer Sting deal with the bleach blonde, high and tight. But then he evolved into what a lot of people call the Crow Sting, and there was a great change of character, and he did it well. And that's, in my eyes, that's a great thing for a wrestler to be able to do, is just change personas like that and still keep it relevant. And like I said, Sting is a great wrestler, but the only reason he's so low on the list is because I didn't grow up watching him. He doesn't, I guess you could say, he doesn't have that nostalgia for me. Moving on to number 9, I have Scotty to Hotty. Scotty to Hotty, on the other hand, has a lot of nostalgia for me. As a little kid, I easily gravitated towards Scotty because, at the time he was the only tiny little white blonde-haired kid, and as a tiny little white blonde-haired kid, it resonated with me. I kind of connected. And Scotty to Hotty was enjoyable to watch. Him and all of Too Cool. They were kind of goofy and they weren't the most serious tag team, but it was fun to watch them come out there and do a little dance. And after they won, they put the sunglasses on Rikishi and did their dance. And who doesn't love the Worm? I always loved seeing Scotty to Hotty do the Worm as a little kid and chanting along like the crowd would, do the WORM. It was just awesome. He actually wasn't a bad wrestler. Like I said, it's just a lot of nostalgia for me. He was probably one of the first wrestlers that I really, truly enjoyed and liked. After this is number 8. I'm actually changing this from my previous video that didn't get recorded properly. Originally I had Dolph Ziggler, but after thinking about it, I'm going to replace him with Bray Wyatt. And the reason I'm doing this is, yes, I do enjoy Dolph Ziggler. I think he's one of the best guys that were on the roster right now. But I really enjoy watching Bray Wyatt. He's great doing promos and on the mic. He's probably the best talker besides Paul Heyman that's in the WWE right now. And he's great in ring too. He has great in-ring presence. He can do a lot of stuff you wouldn't think a bigger guy to do. And he's just so entertaining to watch. He's great. I can see him being in WWE for a long time, doing a lot of good things. And him having a long and illustrious career just because the Bray Wyatt character is so great and he carries it so well. He's one of the people that are on the roster now that I really enjoy seeing, and he has my full attention whenever he's on. Number 7 is Rey Mysterio Jr. I say Rey Mysterio Jr. because I really enjoy Rey's stuff, mostly ECW, WCW, and early WWE. When he did a lot, I love the high-flying stuff he did. When he did a lot of that, it was just amazing to watch. He would run around the ring and do like 10 things, and half of it you didn't even catch because he's moving so fast, and it's mesmerizing to see him in the ring. I did lose interest in Rey Mysterio later in his WWE career because, one, he had so many knee problems, so he couldn't do as much of the high-flying. But it also seemed, once he was in the championship race, after Eddie Guerrero died, it seemed he bulked up a lot. It seemed like kind of WWE pressured him to do that because he wasn't a heavyweight. And I think that also limited him on as much high-flying stuff he could do, which was disappointing because I loved the way Rey Mysterio works in the ring. And then his outfits are just awesome. It's amazing to see what he's going to come out, each week or each show. He never wears the same thing twice. It's the different colors and the different designs, and I love his superhero things that he does. I remember WrestleMania 20 when he did The Flash. I thought that was so cool. He's done Batman, Silver Surfer, the infamous Spider-Man that he's done multiple times. Iron Man he's done more recently. It's really cool to see how he incorporates that into his mask and outfit, and the kids love it. The kids are so into it, and I like how he goes up to the kids, that are wearing the Rey Mysterio mask. I think that's really cool. Just a really, really entertaining guy to watch. Alright, number 6. Number 6 is probably the first big name besides Sting to be on this list so far, and it's the Macho Man! Oh yeah! Macho Man is a legend. It's sad that it took him so long to get into the Hall of Fame, and I hope, the story that his brother Lanny Poffo put out about Macho Man wanting him, his brother, and his father all inducted at the same time, and that's why he hadn't been inducted until now. I hope that is the real reason. It's not all the rumors that were going about Steph and him kind of falling out with Vince and all that. I really hope that's the real reason. But besides that, but he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. He was so entertaining. He had a great in-ring presence. He was big and muscular. He could go toe-to-toe with the biggest guys. But if he needed to, he could kind of fly around a little bit. He was agile. And he had charisma up the wazoo. His promos were some of the most entertaining to watch. He commanded that screen when he was on there. He commanded that pay-per-view. He was in charge from start to finish. Sometimes you didn't know where it was going, but he brought it all in together. He could be kind of random and eccentric, but it worked for him. He knew how to control his words and just storylines. It was amazing. Macho Man is just all around one of the greats. I think WWE, if they didn't have Hulk Hogan, they easily could have based their company on Macho Man Randy Savage. Number 5, getting into the top 5. We start with none other than the bizarre one, Goldust. I've watched Goldust for years and years. I think the first time I actually saw Goldust wasn't on TV, but in a video game. It was one of the early ones on the PlayStation. I want to say Warzone or Attitude. One of those. I don't quite remember. But Goldust was one of the characters featured. They only had like 6-7 guys back then. And I thought just aesthetically, he was so interesting and different and cool looking. And I liked him at that point. I think this is close to when he was already gone from WWE and went back to WCW. And then when he came back to WWE, and they partnered him with they partnered him with Booker T. And that was some of the most entertaining things to watch. They had great segments together. They were hilarious. I remember one, they were in a 7-Eleven. Booker T was like trying to hide from Goldust. He thought he was weird. And Goldust comes up behind him and it's like, I'll give you a sip of my Slurpee if you give me a bite of your wiener. And it was, Booker T freaks out, and it was hilarious, and all their segments were just so enjoyable to watch. And they had great chemistry as a tag team. Eventually he left, and then he came back, and he finally got clean from drugs and alcohol, got in shape, and he's been in the best shape of his entire career these past few years. He goes in there, and he's better than some of the young guys. He's like, Benjamin Button or Fine Wine. He gets better with age. And that's awesome to see that someone at his age, actually today's his birthday, so happy birthday Goldust. He's 46 today. And he's still just amazing to watch. I think that shows a true athlete. And he's so great to watch, so entertaining. Even now he's not as bizarre. He doesn't rub up on people like he used to, which I thought was hilarious. He's changed it, he's adapted it, and it's still entertaining. It's still great to watch. And that's why I have Goldust here at number 5. Number 4 is the icon, Mr. WrestleMania, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is another guy that I didn't get into until later in their career. when I got really, really into wrestling, Shawn Michaels was on the way out. I didn't really pay attention to him, really. He showed up a couple times as a guest referee, and then, not a guest referee, but he was the general manager, the commissioner. That's what they called it at the time. And then he was gone for a while. He came back, and I remember him having his feud with Triple H, but I didn't really pay attention to it. At the time, I didn't really watch Raw as much. I was really focused on SmackDown during that time. And it wasn't until a little after that he started this thing with Vince, kind of those couple, maybe like a year and a half that led into DX when I really started to focus on Shawn Michaels. I saw his feud with, I had a thing with Kurt and John Cena, and they were just amazing matches. And I was just like, how have I not paid attention to this guy before? He's amazing. He really is one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time, without a doubt. And he did the newer DX, and I loved that. I loved how he had kind of the oblivious kind of gimmick, I guess you could say, with the DX, and he's always entertaining to watch. And he is a true and great athlete. Number 3 is the other side of that coin, the game, Triple H. Triple H, I've always watched. I've always enjoyed Triple H. I loved him almost no matter what. I say almost, and I'll explain that in a second. But when I really got into wrestling, he had started the DX Army at this point, with X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws, and that's the DX I love. When I think of DX, that's the first thing I think of, because that's what I grew up with, really. And it was just great. And then he went off on his own and really started, I'm the game, he started that, and it was awesome. And he's so entertaining to watch. He really is, like he says, a student of the game, and it shows in his in-ring performance. And I've always enjoyed watching him throughout his career, except Evolution. I liked Evolution, but I didn't like Triple H, in the way he was portrayed in Evolution, because it seemed like he had to rely on the other 3 guys in Evolution way too much. It seemed like he couldn't win at all without them. And I think, to me, that made Triple H look weak. I know it was kind of to boost Randy Orton and Batista, but I think it made Triple H look way too weak when we all knew he could be on his own. I think they could have portrayed him differently in that. But other than that, after that, once he left Evolution, went from there, it just, again, fell right in love with Triple H. I've always enjoyed whatever he's been doing, whether it was the newer DX or the feud with Randy Orton, which I thought was awesome, or even the Authority. And I think the Authority is a testament to him as a performer, because so many people despise the Authority, and it's just a character. But I think there are people out there that truly hate them, that think, these are the things they're doing from a business standpoint, when really it's just storyline. People just hate them. It really is a testament to him as a performer. Number 2 is the dead man, The Undertaker. The Undertaker, besides Triple H, The Undertaker is one of the others that I've really always watched, no matter what. He just has that great in-ring presence. He's, like I said, he can strike, he can go one-on-one with anybody. But he's agile for a big man. He does the walk of the rope and the fly over the top rope, and not a lot of people can do that, and it's impressive for a guy like him. And it always has been. And then he has the mysticism about him. That's what I always really found entertaining, because I'm into the fiction, sci-fi, all that stuff, and to see that in a program like WWE, it was entertaining to see how they pulled it off like that. They gave him this aura about him, and it's always carried him along well. He really embodied it, and I think that's why it worked when a lot of people with gimmicks fail. And then we also had the Biker Taker, which I really enjoyed, because I thought it was cool seeing a more human side of him. A lot of people say, that was the worst gimmick change ever, they never should have done it. I really enjoyed it. He had some high-profile stuff here and there. He had the match with Triple H at WrestleMania X7. He had a feud with Brock and Big Show, and even Vince. I thought it was cool to see that different side of the Undertaker. We heard him on the mic more, and we saw him do more human things. I thought that was really interesting. But But yeah, Undertaker was definitely one of the greats. Hopefully he'll be done wrestling soon because he is getting old, and then we'll see him inducted into the Hall of Fame because he definitely deserves it. Okay, so here it is, number 1. Well, before I get to that, I like to do, I guess, all honorable mentions. Some guy that didn't quite make the cut, but I still really like. Dolph Ziggler, like I said, I took him off and replaced him with Bray Wyatt. Mankind, always enjoyed Mankind, and I guess the different faces of Foley, as you would say. Road Dogg, I love the New Age Outlaws. Like I said, I love that DX, and I always really loved Road Dogg. I thought he was entertaining. Funaki, he was hilarious back in the Kai and Tai days. Indeed. And Rikishi, he's on there. I always like Big Show. Ultimo Dragon definitely deserves to be on there. He's definitely one of the other luchadors that I really, really enjoy. Alright, number 1. And my number 1 spot is Kane. And I know you're thinking, Kane hasn't really done much, and he's not a big name, but I've always enjoyed watching Kane. I've always kind of had a connection with Kane, in a sense. I can tell a little story here. When I was little and first getting into wrestling, this was right around the time there was a big news story about the kid that killed the little girl he was babysitting. And it was down in Florida, and he had killed her by throwing her into some stairs. They were doing wrestling moves, and my parents went on this big tirade against wrestling, so we weren't allowed to watch wrestling. To combat that, me and my older brother, who is a huge Undertaker fan, by the way, that's kind of how I got into the Undertaker, was through him. We'd get up early on Saturday mornings and watch WWE Superstars on USA, and that was like a recap show. It told you everything that happened during the week and all the big things that happened. And I remember this is kind of what really drew me into wrestling too. We're watching, they're doing the recap of Bad Blood, the pay-per-view in 1997. And they're Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker in the first Hell in a Cell. So of course we're interested because of Undertaker. But then, the lights go out, pyro hits, and out comes this giant, head-to-toe, red and black clad monster. And rips the door off of the cell, comes in, tombstones the Undertaker, lays him out, and we were just like dumbstruck because nothing like that had happened before. And turns out he's the brother of the Undertaker, and I think that was the first connection I made. Was my older brother really loved the Undertaker, and then the Undertaker has a younger brother, and I was like, well, I'm his younger brother, and I made that connection, and I just instantly fell in love with Kane. But he's great. He's a great wrestler. He's done great in ring, and he started out with the mask, so he had to use his body to kind of tell stories, and it worked really well. You always kind of knew what Kane was trying to tell you. When he was still masked, and it was great. And I remember, when he first spoke with the thing saying "suck it," and then when he finally did it without it, he had some great tag teams with X-Pac and Hurricane, RVD, the Big Show, of course Undertaker, Brothers of Destruction were awesome. And he was the guy that I always cheered for. I just always thought he was I thought he was really entertaining, and like I said, I kind of lived through Kane having that brother connection. And, he had the Royal Rumble streak for a while that he eliminated the most people. Of course, they gave it Roman Reigns, the year before, unfortunately. He took the mask off, and because he got, at a point there, he got kind of goofy, and I didn't enjoy that. I thought it was a bad turn for Kane. This one he had the cut mask for a while there. Then he unmasked and he went back to being a monster again, and it was great all over again. It was so enjoyable to watch Kane again. He had some ups and downs, but then he had like a feud with Taker, I think back in 2010, which he won. He came out with the title, and I thought that was great. It was good to finally give Kane a really high profile rivalry that he won. I mean, really, whenever he went head to toe with the Undertaker, he always came out on bottom. And it was good to see him come out on top for once. And I mean, yeah, he's gone through another kind of slump being with the Authority, but I think he's coming out of that soon. I think he's gonna put the mask back on and really be beating Kane again. And he's a consummate professional. Everybody talks about Sting staying with WCW, and the Undertaker staying with WWE. But really, when you think about it, Kane has been with WWE since probably about 1995 when he first came in as Isaac Yankem, and then he went in to be Fake Diesel, and they finally brought him in as Kane. But I mean, that's a long time right there. That's 20 years to be with one company. I think, you know, he's not one to complain about what they're doing with him, or, you know, things like that. And it's just, to me, that exemplifies a consummate professional. That's why he's number one to me. So there you go. There's my first top 10, my personal favorite wrestlers. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below, and tell me who some of your favorite wrestlers are. Maybe if I get enough comments, I can kind of make a poll of, you know, all your guys, the most common, I guess, favorite superstars. If you guys didn't see, I also posted a video today of, I painted the vinyl mummies. I painted that like Goldust, so go check that video out. It's pretty cool. And I will see you guys Tuesday for my Monday Night Raw review. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and I'll see you Tuesday. Thanks.